This recipe is Mediterranean stew. It's not really a stew as in an English stew. It's more like a... It's not a soup and it's not a stew, but we've got to give it some name, so we'll call it stew. The ingredients are 1 aubergine, or if you're in Bulgaria or Russia, it's a patlıcan. 2 big tomatoes, or 3 or 4 small tomatoes. They must be nice and juicy and ripe. You don't want the little hard type. 1 big onion and a bit, or 3 small onions. In fact, I might get Elena to just use 1 onion. I'm not over fond on onion. We've got a baby marrow, or a zucchini, or a courgette. 1 big green pepper, 2 red peppers, and a bulb of garlic. That's it. That's the simple ingredients. It's very easy to make. Now, the reason I'm making this recipe is I don't like courgettes, and I don't like aubergine, and I don't like tomatoes, and I'm not that keen on onion. But when Elena cooked this dish, I was knocked out of the park. It was really, really, really nice, and it's healthy. And I need to eat more greens, so I'm going to learn this so I can cook it at home. Now, you can have this recipe on its own, but to really go to town and make it like special, if you were cooking for somebody or you want to do it for a family, and have it with pasta. And this is the best pasta I've found. And if you can get it, you get the small beef burgers, which in Bulgarian Russia they're called kufte. They're just the small beef burgers. And if you can really find it, lutenitsa, which is a small jar of tomato and peppers on the spicy side. If you can't get lutenitsa, you obviously want tomato sauce. Can we just have 1 onion? Just 1 onion. Yeah? Right, I've got my way with the onion, yes. I've got my way with the onion. I'm not too keen on onions, so we could... I haven't got my way with the onion. Off camera, it's been put back. So I haven't got my way with the onion. Quite big chunks, see? Not too smaller chunks as you would imagine with a lot of dishes. You can see these are quite chunky. Butter. Now, Elena doesn't like margarine. She likes butter, but we couldn't... This is margarine, is it? It's butter, this. You bought it. There was a big fight about the margarine. So Elena went back to the shop and bought butter. It's got to be butter. So quite a chunk of butter in there to start things off. 2 chunks to start things going. A lot of onions, darling. Jesus.
Режу лук и кладу его обжаривать.
Привет! Привет!
Привет!
Russian people. No spices in here, no herbs or spices.
No.
None. I think that's where we go wrong in England and a lot of countries. We just pile in all the spices. We'd be putting coriander and turmeric.
Spice, herbs, острые травы можно класть в конце. In the end.
Yeah. Put a few spices in at the end.
I don't have any.
Just put a little bit, darling, not a lot. So I never have salt, just a little bit. A little, how much? It's like Jamie Oliver. He says a little bit of salt and he puts about 3/4 of a packet in.
Yeah.
That's a lot of salt. Now when they start to go clear, almost, not quite, then it's time to add the carrot. When the carrots have softened, then add the aubergine. Patlıcan. Aubergine. Cut it into little pieces like this. Well, quite chunky pieces. I've noticed everything's cut not too small. If it's too small, everything just goes to watery, just goes to a mush. So that's a good tip. Don't cut things too small.
Я режу баклажан на кусочки. Очень неудобно резать, потому что нет досточки. Я режу на тарелке.
Slicing the aubergine, turn it round, and we want it on the chunky side, not too small.
Сейчас я смотрю, как готово, не готово. Можно уже, наверное, класть кабачок.
Right, now we add the baby marrow, the zucchini, courgette. Leave the seeds in. Look, a lot of people go to great lengths to cut the seeds out. Why? You know, they're not hot. Leave the seeds in. Nice slices, about 7 or 8 millimeters.
Я режу зеленый перец для соте. Мы называем это блюдо соте.
We don't add any water because the vegetables have a lot of water.
Режу там помидоры. Я режу помидоры. Режу помидоры, потом брошу их.
Quite chunky again, look. She takes the white off only. No skin really, just a little bit. As she takes the white corner off, takes a little bit of skin off. But it's not important to take a lot of skin off. Elena just takes that chance because she's cutting the white corner off anyway. So she pulls a little bit of skin off deliberately as she does that. Quite clever, I think. A little tip for you there. So the order is onions, carrots, aubergine, courgette, peppers, tomatoes last.
And
The garlic. So now it's ready, we'll put in the peppers. Put in the garlic. The garlic's quite small, look. As for scale.
We must wait for 10 minutes.
10 minutes this has to cook.
10 minutes.
Before we put the tomatoes in. Right, it's been 8 minutes and Elena reckons this is ready. That's looking good now, isn't it? It's ready for the tomatoes.
Положила помидоры и помешала. И оно должно протушиться хорошо. И помидоры пустят сок, и в этом соке овощи дотушиваются. 5 minutes.
5 minutes, Elena reckons. Right, we're 6 minutes later and Elena says it's ready. I didn't realise that after Elena added the garlic at the end, she turned the gas off and we're going to leave this for about 12 to 13 minutes.
Все готово. Настоится и будем кушать.
And this is the finished product. Mediterranean stew with pasta for me. Mediterranean stew with potatoes and carrots for Elena. Major healthy dish. It was very simple to cook.